Hi everyone, this is episode 248. Thank you so much for joining me. It's not the normal introduction, but you'll find out pretty soon why. Take care. Good morning, everyone, and I hope this podcast this week finds you well. I'm presently sitting in my hotel room at the New World Millennium in Hong Kong, Kowloon side, which is part of mainland China, looking out across the beautiful water to the financial district hub of Hong Kong and being Hong Kong Island. And it's misty rain again. And I was thinking, my goodness, when I left Australia, I wonder if it's going to be rather warm. And I was fortunate. For those that have been know me on social media, of course, I had to come to Disneyland Hong Kong, twisted my arm, being a Disney girl, absolutely loved it and was very fortunate on Sunday that the weather was fine. A little bit of rain at night time, but was still able to see the amazing, momentous sound and light show. But what I wanted to have a chat with you about today, apart from the weather here in Hong Kong, is that I have been attending and presenting my keynote, Future Proofing Your Business Through Diverse Customer Connections, building, going beyond today's market, particularly in relation to the multi-generational workplace, but also our multi-generational clients and how we are preparing for changes. Now, I was the keynote speaker on the first day and found it so interesting over time and conversations that in the audience, being part of the Mystery Shopping Professionals Association of Asia Pacific, we had people from representing India, China, Bulgaria, South Korea, Bangladesh, Kuwait, Japan, Mongolia, Vietnam, France, Malaysia, USA, and multiple companies represented from each of those businesses. And what was interesting was that we can sit in our own little section of the world and think to ourselves, the workforce, how are we dealing with them? As I said, in my respect, on the first day, I did the keynote on the multi-generational clients. And then on the second day, I facilitated a panel for multi-generational teams. And what it came down to is we are all having the same, let's say problem, in the sense of how do we get people, how do we attract people into our businesses? How do we actually retain them? What are they looking for when it comes to building teams, but also clients changing? We have this vast cohort globally that will be moving on from the workforce over the next few years, our baby boomers. And my focus was, how are you connecting with those others in the organization? Because like myself, I've been in business now for 30 years. Some of those contacts I've had for nearly all those decades, but I've always been mindful, not just for business reasons, but for connection and understanding that succession plan in business, whether it's a large organization or a small one, and seeing from perhaps the new leader coming through, what are they looking for the growth of their business, but also what are they looking for from me as being a provider of service to them. And to me, I think that is so key when we look at our businesses, is thinking, who are our customers of today? Who are our teams of today? And how are we preparing for that future? Yesterday, we had a gentleman speak who is a resident here in Hong Kong. His name is Lucas Peng. He is the CEO and founder of Peak Hospitality Solutions here in Hong Kong. And it was so interesting because his talk was about labour shortages, not just in mystery shopping, but of course in his focus is hospitality, like mine, but across all labour shortages. And he shared some amazing facts and figures, particularly from recent research through Korn Ferry, that just blew me away, because I was sitting beside a number of businesses who were from Japan, and they were saying that it is the world's fastest aging population. Over 30% of the population is 65%. It's the highest in the world. Asia itself has 60% of the world's population, who are predominantly young, very tech savvy, and the three main countries are Indonesia, Philippines, and India. Now, in Australia, we are part of the Asia Pacific region. And for many of us, I know, with my clients, we are seeking not only chefs, but others that come, from around the Asian countries. But what was quite interesting was that some of the causes for being short-staffed is migration. For many of the young people, they are migrating to places like Australia, and therefore it reduces and increases the labor shortage here. But it's not just in the Asia Pacific region. It's actually happening globally that, yes, those that finish university, or perhaps they are, that gap year fills in, or they've been in the workforce for, a number of years, and they've decided to migrate to other countries. The aging population, as I said, not only in Japan, where it's the world's highest, but across across all countries, we have this aging population. The economic growth, workplace conditions, that's probably one of the biggest. What their expectations of the workplace now, and we've all seen this, coming back out of COVID, and with Gen Z saying, in particular, that, if I can do it in a shorter period of time, still achieve the work that you're requiring, then therefore, why do I have to be, for here that 12, 14-hour day? It's working smarter, not just harder, but as long as the work is accomplished. But it's thinking how, the baby boomer, the Gen X, how they perceive things as being the leaders or perhaps business owners, because it's a different way that those particular two generations have looked at how they have had to work and coming into the workplace. The workers' preference, there is very much this strong gig economy, as we know, whether it's Uber driving or just on the little motorbikes. They were just saying here the delivery of food is phenomenal, and is making such a big impact. Also, government regulations. We had a gentleman who was attending the conference who was from Kuwait, and he was saying that the government actually in Kuwait guarantees everybody a job. And so for people to go out into private practice, there has got to be a really strong reason behind that. And they therefore come into the private practice with a lot of what their needs are, not demands, but their needs and preferences are being employees, because they know that they can get a job. But also there is this regulation that I'm sure he said 80% of your workforce, or even more, had to be Kuwaiti, and it is only a very small population, so it impacts them greatly. Of course, and that's not only Kuwait. I know there are other countries. Macau, for instance, is the same. They have their Macanese people that is, they have to be the first people that are offered roles. And I'm sure there's many other countries and sectors that I'm not aware of right now that also have this requirement. So then what are these impact of the labour shortages? Well, they increase the labour costs. There are extreme operational challenges. There's delayed growth because, we're finding, in Australia, we see it all the time. And it was interesting. Lucas put up this sign saying, please be aware, due to staff shortages, we are doing our best. And I said, oh my goodness, we have those same signs in Australia, and a number of other representatives of countries said the same thing. I said, look, we even have signs saying, please, please be nice to our staff. They're doing their very best. And so therefore, where businesses once would have expanded, they're delaying that growth, because even though they know the opportunities there, whether it's in another area, even down the road from them, wherever it may be, that they could open up and expand the cafes, the restaurants, the retail stores, whatever it may be, they've delaying that growth due to the lack of ability to find employees. There's that reduced productivity, of course. There's increased training needs, and that's probably the biggest, that we talked about a lot, particularly when I facilitated my panel, and the questions that I was asking them was, training is absolutely key, because we're finding we're getting people into into whatever industry that may well be, that don't have prior experience, but also we lost so many of middle management, not just in Australia, but globally. And therefore, we are now, in many industries, we are having to train those frontline people relatively quicker than we've done beforehand to ensure that they are ready for management. And sometimes we have to put and put them in roles that we understand that mentoring or continued mentoring is key. And of course, those training. Innovation and automation is something also that people are looking at, business owners. How can we innovate and automate more, so not reducing completely the customer service, because we still need human contact. I mean, people, that's what they're seeking, no matter what generation they're from or country. They still need that human connection. However, are there ways that can be done through automation that would perhaps speed up the process? For instance, there's a great coffee shop I've gone to. I've just returned from an early breakfast, and there you're taken to your seat, you're given a QR code, you order directly from that. Now, the menu is amazing. You can do all sorts of specialization, customization, which I absolutely love, because me, I'm a bit of a fuss pot when it comes to food, along with my half-strength latte, but I had no issues doing that. And then, so the service really focused on the delivery of the food coming out. And then, of course, you actually still paid at the register, which was great, either cash or card, but it moved people through a lot quicker. They ensured that they had excellent service when it came to that delivery of the product and the taking of the money and making sure you've had a great day, etc. So that's where they've brought in that innovation. Also, it really is focusing on that customer experience and satisfaction. And even though labour shortages may be impacting many businesses, we've got to think about, well, how do we do that? And that's where, as mystery shoppers or mystery shopping companies, which, I have been for 30 years with my own proprietary software, is that we help businesses continuously improve and empower to achieve service expectations. And we do that by, sending in our team members who are qualified, who understand what they're looking for, but also providing through our information, not only that the quantitative research through, your statistics, but also that qualitative research in where are there opportunities for improvement and growth, and perhaps even offering additional service requirements to ensure that your customers are being well looked after, and therefore ensuring that they will not only return, but will recommend. Another slide that Lucas shared with us was really, really interesting, and it was something that I just wanted to share with you. I will certainly share it in my community groups with my middle management, but it was saying here, by 2030, it is predicted that there will be a global talent shortage of around 85 million people, resulting in revenue losses of approximately $8.5 trillion. Now, this is very recent research done by Korn Ferry. The 2024 labour shortages, the global average is 75%. Japan was the highest at 85, India 81, Hong Kong 79, Singapore 79, Australia 78, Taiwan 73, and China 69%. Labour shortages. It's all about training, but it's about attracting. It's about connecting with those that are working with you. It's looking at, and I know so many of my clients are looking at, what are those employment conditions that perhaps we've always had that we need to change. We need to have conversations with those that are coming into our organizations. We need to look at what their needs are. Yes, they are looking at a well-balanced life. And we had a joke yesterday saying, whose fault it is? It's the parents of of these Gen Zs and the young millennials. But you know what? I think they can show us something too, that we don't have to work ourselves into the absolute ground, have unhealthy lifestyles just to say that we've achieved, we've achieved this job or we've done that, because we want to be able to enjoy our lives as well. So maybe as the older generation, we can take note from the younger generations, but it's how do we connect? How do we listen to them as well as they listen to us? Because yes, we rightly so, we are running businesses, but it's important for all generations to come together, to understand our individual values and beliefs. So as my parting word to you, let's not look at this as all doom and gloom, because it's certainly not. It's about how can you evolve for the future? What's your future market? Who are those that you're connecting with as clients? Are you connecting with others within that organization and across other industries? And how are you connecting with your team? Why should people work for you? What is it that you're offering? Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to pray now for some sunshine so I can go on a little walk before I hop on the plane and fly back home. But Hong Kong, if you haven't been here, is an amazing place. I first visited here, this sounds dreadful, 40 years ago, and it was very, very different back then. Even the airport has changed from where it used to be. But for a dense population of the most skyscrapers, they say, in the world, it is just amazing and extremely clean. So if you've ever got the chance, come to Hong Kong, take a look around, enjoy yourselves. Have a great day, everyone. Take care. Bye. Thank you for joining me on today's podcast. I hope I've got you thinking, but also going, wow, about some of those stats I shared with you. I do hope that, I've just given you that little bit of a nudge to look at that future-proofing your business, both from the multi-generational client as well as your team members, and how to hopefully not have those staff shortages where it's going to impact on you and your business. I've loved sharing this information with you today. If there's anything that I can help you with, you can always go to michellepascoe.com, where all our services are there, whether it's our frontline training programs, our middle management movement programs for those that are stepping up into leadership roles or those already on the journey. Of course, our mystery shopping with our own proprietary software, which we customize for every client to ensure they get real-time feedback and ideas on how to further future-proof their business and continue to exceed the expectations of their customers. Take care, everyone. I look forward to you joining me next week. Bye.